will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you. You will watch my pre-release video and you will like it. Do you understand me, Private?
Well, now you've learned how to not think about your pre-release. This isn't some sort of super competitive event. This is a casual event between players. So the first, most simple question is, what is a pre-release? So this is a small event held 1 week before a new set is sold in stores. And the event itself is a tournament. In the tournament, you'll open some new packs of the set, and you'll make a deck out of them. It'll be typically 6 packs. Sometimes it's all new set, sometimes it's mixed with a previous set, but you're opening up 6 packs. Then you're making a 40 card deck out of them to play against other people. Pre-releases are a special event, and the thing that makes them special is that people from all types of Magic come to play. So people that are grinding out PTQs and really trying to do well in Magic, all the way to people who just enjoy Magic on their kitchen table against some friends. And the thing that brings all these people together is a new set, and the thing that makes these very different Magic players work well together is that everyone understands that it's a very casual event. This is not tournament level. Alright, so the first group of people that I would like to give some advice to are casual, beginning players, people who just enjoy the game at their kitchen table, that sort of thing. The first thing I'd like to tell you is, go register right now. These things are not just walk in and play, they are go to the game store a day or two ahead, pre-register, and then show up, because your game store might not be able to seat everyone from the large amount of people that show up to these events. The next thing is, don't take advice from your opponents. They're your opponents. I have seen people give bad advice before, so just play the game the way you think is smartest. The next thing is to take your time during your turn. If you're sitting across from someone who is extremely competent and, like grinds the pro scene or whatever, they're going to have a very quick pace, and you might feel obligated to match that pace, but that's completely unnecessary. Play at your own pace and consider all your options. The next thing is, this is a pre-release, so pretty much nobody has all the cards completely memorized, unless they're like me and they have to do a set review for their channel. But most people don't have these things really hard in their minds, so feel free to just ask to read a card. Can I read that card? Can I read that card? By the end of the night, you'll have read so many cards, you're going to know the set pretty darn well. And that's sort of the point of pre-release, so feel free to ask your opponents to read their cards, The next thing is judges. So at your kitchen table, playing casually, that sort of thing, there aren't any judges. But at these events, there are judges, and they're not just furniture, I promise. Judges are there to help you guys figure out exactly how things work, especially in new sets it can be complicated. So if there's ever a time where you and your opponent aren't sure how something's supposed to happen, go ahead and just call a judge. It's literally why they are there that day, is to help you. So help them help you by letting them know. The last little piece of advice is to have fun while you're playing and make friends. This event is one of the ones that you're going to where you're very likely to meet people that like the same stuff as you do. Certainly at least Magic. So when you're playing against people, if they seem like they're up for a little bit of a conversation while you're playing, you can feel free, make friends, and have a good time. Alright, so this next section is for, Friday night grinders, people that are at the card shop all the time playing Magic. The first thing I'd like to say is that you guys are the ambassadors of Magic to newer players. So these people aren't going to be going for the first time to a PTQ or something. They're going for their first time to a pre-release, or maybe a Friday Night Magic. So make people as welcome as you can, and, invite them to sit down with you and your friends, ask them what clan or whatever they're playing, and just have a good time with these new people. The next thing is people who are longtime players always they have the lens of winning, right? And that's really important in Magic because it makes you better. However, at these pre-releases, you can go ahead and just like let people do tiny takesy-backsies and whatever if they make little mistakes, and those people who are making small mistakes, one day they might be great players and you'll be happy that you know them and that you brought them into Magic by giving them a good experience at this pre-release. And the last piece of advice is actually one of the same pieces of advice that I gave to new player, which is ask to read cards. I know that with players that are a little bit more experienced, they feel like they don't know what they're doing if they have to read a card. But you know, this set's new for everybody, so feel free to just ask people to read their cards, and I think that'll help everyone. Alright, here's the section for everybody. So the first thing that I suggest to everybody, I'm such a huge fan of these, are get some sleeves. You guys might end up playing with some pretty expensive cards and just slapping them around for 6 hours on the, you know, like Coke spilled table is probably not the best way to get money out of these cards if you ever want to sell them or anything like that. And even if you look at all your cards and like, they're kind of junk, a lot of times there's sleeper cards in these sets where people don't understand how good they'll be in some format until somebody breaks it, and then, you know, suddenly it's a $20 card, and you want your $20 card to actually be worth $20. The next thing is, how are you going to eat? This is going to be an event for, you know, maybe 5-6 hours, so having some sort of plan as to how you're not going to feel like you're starving by the end or feel completely dehydrated is probably a good idea. Plus, being well fed and well watered will make you more concentrated on the game. The next thing is, and this one is actually mildly hard for me, is get some sleep before you go. I know before the previous pre-release, I was like dreaming of Magic literally, but go ahead and try to get some sleep so that you go there well rested and your mind is well lubricated from all the sleep so that you can play the best Magic you can. My next tip for you guys is to read the spoilers at least once, so you have some familiarity with the cards, because you're going to get a completely random pile of cards, and just building a deck from something you've never seen before is pretty tough. So reading through the spoilers and knowing what's going on is probably a good idea, especially since deck construction is timed. The next piece of advice is to watch my pre-release guides. I release these things every single time before the pre-release, so go ahead, find the guide, click it, and hopefully those guides help to highlight some cards that I think you should be keeping your eyes out for. The last tip for you guys is to bring a smile with you. You're about to play Magic with new cards, so get pumped, put on the smile, and have a great time.
You have survived pre-release boot camp! Dismissed, soldier!
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till